Welcome, guys. Today is we're doing a series of luncheons with Oswego High School students because I want to get perspectives on different projects, transitions, how students feel about programs at the high school. And today's is really to get the perspective of students on our upcoming capital project. So what I'd like to do is share with you, and you might have heard some of this already because we do the monthly Dean and Dane show on WBUC, and there's been a lot of talk about the capital project across the community. But I think it's important for the community to hear from students about what this capital project means to you. So I thought the first thing that I might do is just give you a snapshot of the work that's going to be done at Layton and at the high school, because really now that we're on a main campus, the hub of our athletics and music are around this main campus. So it's not just the high school. So I have two boards up here that I'll just go over quickly, and then Mrs. Canelli's going to bring another board in that shows the athletic facilities in a minute. This is detail about the capital project at the Oswego High School. And this isn't all about athletics and music, although we talk a lot about it, and there's a great need for improvements in athletic and music. This talks about some of the things that are important and some pictures of deteriorating areas of those schools that you know well enough about. We're going to improve some life safety system upgrades at the Oswego High School, carbon monoxide detectors, lead in water with new fixtures, new faucets, new piping that's required under the New York State requirements at the State Education Department. Some mechanical system replacements and upgrades, domestic water systems, sinks and fountains. We're going to do a complete girls and boys locker room reconstruction at the Oswego High School. We're going to do a complete renovation of the music suite. The band room, as you know, is original to 1970, as is most of the building, as well as the chorus room. So we're going to do a lot of work around athletics and music. We're going to replace some asbestos tile in the band suite, and we're going to do a lot of exterior campus-wide site reconstruction that I know you're curious about, and that's in a board that I'll share with you in a minute. But because you're on the main campus, and we know that Layton is also important to athletics and music in our community, we're going to do those same types of improvements with CO2 and lead. We're going to do a lot of interior floor refinishing. We're going to reconstruct the athletic wing, which now is really a rabbit warren of little spaces and classrooms and locker rooms that we use for storage because they're just not suitable for kids anymore. We're going to replace some interior doors for safety because they don't meet fire code. We're going to do some exterior site reconstruction that I'll show you on the next board. And the lobby, we're going to renovate the lobby because that's really the hub of where our visitors come for varsity basketball and volleyball and wrestling and so many other things. And we'd like to do some things that make it welcoming and cheery for visitors and for our own home teams and parents. These are some pictures of some of those areas that you know well enough about. The locker rooms from 1956, sinks and bathrooms that aren't suitable, that nice picture of how the water is unsuitable. This is a picture of a classroom space, an AIS math room down there, and how the ceilings really need a lot of work. And just kind of some other snapshots. This is the band room that now has some tile that leads up to concrete that needs a lot of work. The sound system in there is deteriorated. The gang showers in the boys and girls locker rooms are really, I'm sure, very enticing for you all. Bathrooms without stalls, without doors. That's a big draw, I'm sure. But the most important board really for you folks is this. This shows the site work that's being proposed. So on the site of the Oswego High School in the area that now is soccer and softball, we're proposing a multi-purpose facility that will house lacrosse, soccer, marching Buccaneers, and football. That is an enclosed facility, so there will be concession in there, visitor locker rooms, visitor restrooms, similar to the CNS Stadium, additional parking. Completely redo of Buccaneer Boulevard, the replacement of the Liberty Street parking lot that's sinking. And then around Layton, we're going to repurpose Wilbur Field. We're going to take all the bleachers out because they're not up to code. We're going to resurface the track for community use and for physical education. And for practice, it's a great practice facility. And then we're also proposing redoing the tennis, turning it in the right direction, additional parking for the new Ed Center so that people can find us, and then an artificial turf baseball with the Marching Buccaneers practice field overlaid, and artificial turf softball. So those are the music and athletic improvements that we're proposing get done in this capital project. So I guess what's important for me to know from you, and I know the community wants to know about, is what do those things that you do outside of the classroom mean to you, and how do things like this impact your experience in the Oswego City School District? We all know that academics are the most important. We're working hard every day to improve our academic program, but I believe that the hook for students are the things that you do outside of the classroom. That's really what your draw is. That's what builds the community. That's your circle of friends. So just open it up to you in terms of what you see in other districts and how important is this work to you folks?
I can speak to like the softball field for like one instance is we've had to cancel games before because of the rain, and like our softball fields do not drain. And also it did cause some injuries. Like a few years ago, a girl tore her ACL because of our field was so uneven and so bad. And just I feel like with that new aspect of like the turf, that brings a whole new like part to the game where we wouldn't have to worry about, are we going to have a game today, or can we even practice? Like,
and also it gives you the ability to get on the field sooner in the season.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Because we can do snow removal on artificial turf,
Yeah.
and there'll be a drainage system built into that. Well, that would never be the issue.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have to worry about like gym time because that's a huge issue.
Right.
Because all the teams are trying to get outside, and if they can't go inside,
Right, absolutely.
I know we've, for softball too, we've gone out there a lot and had to find a little patch of grass like over in the corner by the fence that wasn't wet just so we could practice, so we'd come in all muddy, or we have to cancel a JV game because the JV field's completely flooded, and we go out there and have to spend at least half the practice raking and putting down stuff because the field is so flooded and wet. So that'll be great having turfs that we don't have to waste so much time on that.
Great. What about from a soccer perspective?
Well, I love that multi-purpose field because that field right now for practicing on, oh man, like it's such a hard field that you get shin splints even though you're outside, and it's awful. And so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Like having a game field that's actually at the high school instead of the one over at the middle school will be amazing. We'll have a large amount of fans for it instead of the small amount because of the distance.
Oswego Marching Buccaneers have always been the pride of Oswego. We've had an outstanding music program for many years, and we have music facilities at the high school now that date to 1970. It doesn't mean they're original to 1970. It means they're worse than they were in 1970. Originally, we had a terraced flooring system there. That was torn out. Now it's just tiled to concrete. The sound system is bad. And we've seen so many great things happening in our district in the last couple of years. The homecoming soccer game with the marching band there.
Yeah.
You know, so bringing athletes and musicians together is so important. What do you think that this type of work in our district does for school spirit?
Okay, well, particularly for the marching band, since we both do it,
Yeah.
the field is going to be a lot better, and we can do a lot more practicing because it's even, and it'll give us more like a vantage point for what the dome is going to be like and what other groups are going to be like, which is going to be very helpful. Also, when we host our home show, now that we have that whole facility and we'll have the bathrooms, more people will go and they'll actually
I'm glad that you
enjoy it.
mentioned that because I use that. I make that point in the presentations that I've been making across the community. I was the marching band. I was the drum major of the Marching Bucks since 1978, 79, 80. And I was the drum major at the original pageant of champions, and we had like 14 to 16 bands. This year we had 4, plus you guys. And why do you think? It's because other bands would rather go to Central Square or Liverpool or CNS or West Virginia march on turf because that's what you can expect in the dome. So there's so many similarities between athletics and music. I'm sure that you visit other districts that have the facilities that we want.
Like
So-
Auburn just got a new turf
Syracuse,
field.
Noah.
Walking onto the Auburn turf. Oh, it's so nice.
Right.
Like
Mexico
it
has
just
brand new
squishes
turf.
under your feet, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
When you're on like marching band or sports things and you go to other school like in away games, and then you see their like turf and other stuff, and then when they come to our it's kind of sad
Yeah.
because it's like
Yeah.
we are like everyone has like all the better fields and the
Even Mexico has a better field.
Yeah,
Mexico's
got
a
a new
big
one.
stadium. Right.
And like
Ugh.
talking about how you were saying when other teams come here, I worked with Michelle, the athletic trainer, and for like football season, and the football guys would show up from like Fowler or whatever, and we would have to put them in our girls' locker room of Layton, and they would walk in. They're like, "This place is like awful," like blah
Yeah.
blah, and it was kind of like, I don't want to say an embarrassment, but it kind of was.
Well, it is an embarrassment.
Yeah, like
It is an embarrassment.
there were lockers falling off of hinges, like
Yes.
everything. The bathrooms, one of them, the toilet broke, and Michelle and I had to go in there with sweaty boys trying to fix it.
Right.
And it was just like a bad experience, I guess, for them.
Yes.
And that kind of gave them, I don't
Bad
know.
impression.
Yeah, a bad
Us.
It
impression
is.
of
It's-
the studio.
It
right.
affects everyone's attitude too, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because going to like a really nice field, I'm gonna want to like put that much more into it than I would on a field that like is like we have.
Right, right. And I think school spirit and pride is something I'm really interested in seeing an improvement in. You see really excited fans and students when you go to other school districts for
Yeah.
events. And I think it does matter. It does matter.
Yeah, like if you have nice stands, the turn like for most fields that we go to, the turnout's double what we have, and I think it's
Yes.
because they have the facilities to
Right.
have that.
Right. This also opens up an opportunity for us to host regional events
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we don't have the capacity to really host now.
Sectionals.
Yeah, sectionals. We're really adding additional field space for our outside athletics, but we're also improving the quality of our facilities indoors
Yeah.
for for our student athletes and for our musicians, officials even. We have an obligation to provide a suitable fit space for our officials to change and
Right.
Yeah.
to be hosted, and we really don't have that now.
Yeah, we put them in a closet for
Yeah.
basketball. Like, there's a little part of the girls' locker room,
Yeah.
and then there's this random door, and then there's like this little closet like this big, and we just put them in there.
Right.
So
We joke about it because we have to, because it's our reality now.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But we really should want better.
Yeah.
And we do
Yes.
want better for our students. And so we're hopeful that this community will support this project, and that for $37.87 on a $100,000 home, we can have this.
Yeah.
That's the cost on this project over 15 years. So if you owned a $100,000 home for $37.87 on your tax bill for 15 years, we can do all of this. So for you and for your children as well someday. Because our hope really is that we get our students fully prepared and life ready. You go off to college, you get a degree and create a career, and our hope is that many of you will come back. And I think that having great schools and great facilities will entice some of you to do that.
I'd also like to comment on how you're gonna fix Buck Boulevard because that street is
It's a
extremely
mess. Oh my
bad
God.
right now. Plus
Yeah.
the parking spots, which will allow us to have more people because that's
Yeah.
always been an issue.
Yeah.
Parking.
That percentage of the project that's called site work, that means it's work that's done outside of the 7 buildings. Some people think that that's just athletics and music. Where really
No,
site work is
definitely.
anything. It's parking lots, it's landscaping, and there's a lot of parking lot work being done across the district too. Minetto needs a new parking lot in Bus Drive. There's a lot of work at Layton and the high school. Buck Boulevard alone, you can imagine, is millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the main corridor across our campus. And we're really trying to create a main campus now that's the hub for everything in our district. So I thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Great.